game and up the tempo. They're happy to play the short chips sort of stop-starts of the game.
Yeah, I wonder whether the intensity of the opening round, whether teams are just trying to take a bit of the sting out of it. We've noticed at times the footy's been a bit scrappy, maybe the long time between runs for these two sides as we see Locke try to pull that one out of the middle. Interesting for the Zebras that they're starting with Heath in the ruck and Ryder forward. Part of that education, I guess, from a St Kilda level with Max Heath. And for Casey, obviously, they're trying to push into a very successful Melbourne team. Some of their listed players as Hipwell goes forward. Running around there is Kent. Gets onto his left foot, bends it nicely and kicks a very good goal. So dream start for Sandringham in the second term. Dean Kent trying to get himself back into the AFL side, having played against Collingwood last week. 3-3-21, Casey 4-2-26.
He's up to 6 touches now as well. Dean Kent had his moments in the opening term. That was a much-needed one for the Zebras. Interesting in both games today when the coin toss was won. The captain selected the right of your screen as you're watching us here on afl.com.au today. But in both games so far, the women's game earlier and today, it would seem as though that more of the scoring's being done to the left of screen.
Certainly seems to be more penetration as well in the kicks there towards I guess they're both open ends of the ground, but the more open side, the Casey race, for those familiar with Cranbourne, the swimming pool end.
It's a notorious ground for how the winds can really take hold, but today it's perfect. We're back in the middle. Both Dorr and Heath, I reckon, got a hands on that one. Ball's coming Danel's way. Munro's trying to crash through. Did well to get the hand pass out. Casey going into attack. Brown unable to get to the ball first. Can they find some numbers through the Demons here? Munro battling hard. Had Danel for company. Now Wiedemann. Was he claimed high? No, umpire says play on. Bedford goes in. Ball up in the pocket. Cade Chandler, a little worse for wear after that contest at the top of 50. He's limping off. Had a good first quarter, kicked a couple of goals, did Cade Chandler. Demons fans will be keen to see how that plays out right now. Bedford gave off the handball. Goylock, that's a great tackle to hold up Luke Dunstan. Ball comes toward the middle of the ground, but it's gone over the head. Josiah Kyle, and the relieving mark was taken by Smith.
Smith gives that ball off. Casey will work it out wide, close to the boundary line. They'll feed the hand pass back in and then drive it towards the pocket. Going up there and taking a nice strong mark is Brown, about 49 metres out. Probably 3 or 4 metres in from the boundary. Has occasionally lobbed a couple of these in from long range. Margin sits at 5. A couple of times Sandringham have sort of burnt themselves a little bit by taking the advantage and not executing on the turnover. Brown sets that one up. It'll land about 3 metres out. Majak Dora will get the fly. Got 2 hands to it. Couldn't take the mark. Ryder, quick kick was partially smothered. Lands in the lap there of Dunstan, who was pulled off the kick. And then in the end it drifts off hands and over for a throw-in in the left forward pocket.
Okay, Chandler just to your right, Darren, just trying to walk it off. Possibly just copped a corky maybe, and does seem to be not too hampered, but certainly not 100%.
Not talking to the other doc or anything, but a noticeable limp certainly for him. Now the medico does come over for a bit of a chat with him as it's taken out of there. Windhager's kick was smothered. Stepping through was Baker. Now the hand pass is fed off on the outside of the right boot with the banana, and that is a goal. I think it's by Laurie, who has put Casey back out by 11. Lovely bit of play, 5-2-32 to 3-3-21.
Leo Connolly up to 9 touches now for Sandringham. After that, it is all Demons. Luke Dunstan's up to 7, as is Blake Howes and Deacon Smith. 6 for Oscar Baker and Toby Bedford for Sandringham. Jaron Geary, Darby Hipwell both have 6, as does Dean Kent's. Get all of these live stats on the VFL app, also on afl.com.au. Every game streamed for the first time in the Smithies VFL. It's been a long time coming, but big year of comprehensive coverage coming up in the Smithies VFL competition. Casey out by 11 points. It's going to be Heath up against Dorr in ruck. Umpire puts down a pretty good bounce. It did favour Majak, though. The Demons will eventually clear it once more, although Munro wants to go by hands. He sent it out wide to his skipper. Mitch White's kick going inside 50. A couple of bites of the cherry for Mitch Brown. And a chance to extend the lead for Casey. Out to 17 points, which would be a game high. That's his 5th mark. Mitch Brown for today. Kick, though, wayward.
Finding himself quite a bit of space, and they are in general finding themselves a lot more space when they go forward. Casey, they're linking up with ease. And a long ball out. Ryder at the back, splits the pack, couldn't take the mark. The front, the pack collapses, and in the end, it'll be bounced about 60 around from the Casey goal. Attacking towards the right of screen. Dorr goes up there in front. Ball came down towards Donnell, who was brought to ground straight away in a tackle. Ryder and Dorr again. Ryder gave a little nudge there. He won the tap, but pushed Majak Dorr in the back. So free kick to Casey on the half-forward flank. Goes low and flat. And again, we talk about that space on the lead. Just those channels for them to push into all across that forward 50. And it's that man again who will get an opportunity in Brown from 40 metres out. He's had 2 shots from the other side. He'll now kick from the broadcast side of the ground.
That's now mark number 6 as well. So that's an early headache for Jake Batchelor.
Been a journeyman across his football career. Will kick from about 40 metres out, starts it well left and just sneaks it in for a behind. So letting them off the hook with a couple of those shots, 5-4-34 to 3-3-21.
The on goes short to Geary. And 6 touches in the opening term, Jaron Geary. Now it's Sandringham that are happy just to chip around, played a short game. Go a bit longer now. It just slipped through the hands of Windhager. What's the umpire's call here? High contact. It'll be a Sandringham free kick. A little slow to get up. There's Jake Lohman. Kicked a goal in the opening term. 13-point ball game. At Casey Fields. Lohman. Long to the pack. Ryder taking a nice mark. Saints fans would love to see that. Paddy Ryder going inside 50. He wanted Goy Lock, but the kick just felt a little bit too short in the end. Nice relieving mark by Deacon Smith. That was his 6th mark of the game as the ball's tracking boundary side. Baines under a fair bit of pressure here. Just had to hold up. Got tackled immediately by Woden. And that's holding the ball. Dragged it in, said the umpire. Free kick for the son of the 2000 Brownlow medalist.
And the ball to be driven long. Wiedemann's got to sit underneath that. Brown from the back takes a good, strong, contested mark. That's probably the pick of the bunch, up to 7 on the day. Pushing forward and taking the mark here is Goonan, who's got it in front of our broadcast position, about 80 metres from goal. Chips it inboard, finds a target. It's his skipper. White turns around, hits it up towards the top of the goal square, and the mark has been pulled in a pack of 4. And it's going to be another opportunity, and this time the goal is kicked. 8 marks, and now a goal. 6-4-40, Brown on fire, 3-3-21.
He was quick to get back down there. He was involved in the play across half-back only a minute earlier. He's working hard today. The elder statesman out there for Casey.
Early results in the VFL, of course. We've seen victories to Sydney over Footscray. Carlton over Brisbane, Geelong defeating Essendon, the Gold Coast over the Bull Ants, Werribee over Frankston, and at the moment Richmond well ahead of Southport. Tight game between Box Hill and Collingwood late in the third term, with Box Hill leading that by 5 points. And obviously this contest here where Casey pinching a break.
Yeah, it's been a busy opening round in Smithy's VFL footy. Into the ruck for Sandringham now is Chris Carey. We go against Sam Wiedemann. Wiedemann just stayed down. No clearance out of the middle just yet. Munro again crashing through. Gave up the ball though. Slipping through a couple of hands. It's a hard ball to win right now. Locke eventually is going to pick it up on the wing and then dash away. Just dump it onto his left foot. Wobbler towards half forward. Geary left the ball behind. Casey get it back once more. Woden been busy in the second term now. Bedford, highest ranked player on the ground in the first quarter. Right foot towards half forward, toward Majak Dor. Tried to almost reel that in with the right hand, couldn't do so. He was wedged between a couple of Sandringham defenders. Now work it out by hand here, the Zebras. It's Hayes who dumps it back toward the wing. No mark could be taken by Wiedemann. Ball's just popped up. We're inside the centre circles here. Wiedemann misses the handball but had time to recover. Picks it up off the deck and then sends a high ball wide. Tough one there for Goonan to mark. Been paid though.
He has. An argument was that he'd stopped the ball. Probably reasonable shout. Goes towards the pocket to the man who's marking everything. He couldn't mark that one though, Brown. He was under a bit of pressure from Allison, but Allison's given the free kick away for getting into his back. So Brown just can't stop getting the footy at the moment, but Matthew Allison a little clumsy and falling into his back, and that is clearly a problem matchup for the Sandringham Brains Trust. Yep. Brown, he's missed a couple of set shots. He kicked his last goal from playing on from the mark. He's probably his hardest kick. Wrong side for a right footer. Step inside the boundary, and that looks pretty good, just drifting across the face. So 1-3 on the afternoon. 6-5-41, Casey, 3-3-21, Sandringham. Margin out to very much a game-high 20 points.
That brings Mitch Brown up to 10 touches, equal with Leo Connolly now. Sandringham ball as Milne went very short for Bain. Gives it back to Milne. Wide kick toward the outer side. Ends up working out. Found Hodgson. That's a high ball toward the wing. It was very vertical. Didn't go all that far in the end. Casey had some numbers around the back of the contest. Dor might have spoiled his own teammate there in Goonan. Still a Demons ball. Manise Wakefield sending it wide toward the pocket. Now Malcolm did well, escaped with the ball, doesn't decide to shoot, went for the unselfish pass instead. He ended up finding Woden, who wanted to play on, waste no time, and extend Casey's lead out to 26 points.
On fire now, certainly their ball movement. Sandringham much slower now in their ball movement than they were earlier in the game. Casey starting to take it on a bit more as they get their confidence, and just those runners around the midfield half-forward line, certainly the likes of Bedford. Then you throw in the likes of Mons Wakefield, Melksham, Dunstan, all getting a lot of the football around there, creating dangerous options for those forwards, whether it be Wiedemann when he pushes down there, whether it's certainly Brown, who's 8 possessions, 5 shots at goal. These early stages of the game, 2 goals, 3 he's kicked. Sandringham needing to settle things down. They've got a couple of the youngsters in the middle in Cheeto Owens and obviously Max Heath in the ruck. 26 points in arrears, having kicked the first goal of the second quarter. It's been all one-way traffic since then. Dor wins the tap, trying to kick that one out of the air. If it wasn't a free kick for a hold, it probably would have been in danger against McHale. Free kick goes the way of Casey. They run past the centre circle and drive it deep towards those leading targets. And another mark taken, almost uncontested, about, about 35 metres out to Van Rooyen. So he'll kick from about 35 metres out, slight angle. This for 4 in a row to Casey. And it would also be 7 of the last 8 goals in the game.
Had a shot in the first quarter and missed.
It's all been a bit too simple in the last 10 minutes for the home side, and that one is through for another one. They move along to 8-5-53. Sandringham 3-3-21. Game blows out to a 32-point margin.
Yep, 4 goals to 1 now in this second term. Casey coming off a pretty good year last year in the VFL. They finished the season at 7-2, 5th on the ladder. Sandringham struggled a little bit, 4-5 in the end, and were 13th when the season was unfortunately cut short.
Such a strange ladder, of course, last year with a lot of little pockets of the competition and obviously the national aspect of it, having had no footy at all in 2020 at that level.
Of course, we've got 9 Northern State teams in the VFL this year. The 4 established AFL teams, and the Southport Sharks have come back as well for season 2022. So that's the half-ton already up for Casey, only 16 minutes into the second term. Riders back into the ruck against Orr. Did get first hands on it, but no clearance for the Zebras. And he did well there, Dunstan, to get the ball. He lost his footing, got back up and sent it forward. That's a high tackle. Umpire was right there. Holding the ball, in fact. No, it's going to be a free kick for the Zebras.
I think you were right.
Umpire had a perfect look at it. Mitch Owens claiming it, a true centre-half back. Bouncing ball's going to be picked up by Milne. He's under some pressure. Finally got his kick away, and Ryder takes the mark on the outer side.
Can they find some space over the top? Kicks towards a teammate who was hard running down towards the pocket, and it's hand pass straight towards the boundary line, and the umpire will pay deliberate for it. So good pressure out there from Locke, and he'll win himself a free kick. It was more the Casey player just getting rid of the football in the tackle, but just happened to be straight over the boundary line. And it was a very simple decision. It was always going to be a free kick back. It's Kyle out there. From just inside the boundary line. Tough kick, and that's well near side and out of bounds on the full. So first opportunity in a while for Sandringham was a difficult one from deep in the pocket. McVee with ball in hand, chipped over the top. Casey will just slowly work this ball out of their defensive end. The ball comes back by hand. They'll try to manoeuvre their way out under a little bit of heat. And now they put the foot down and charge through the middle, kick it up towards the wing position, goes through the fingers of Van Rooyen at the back. The sweepers are there in the form of Lewis for Sandringham. Gave the hand pass off. It's kicked down. Owens floats in from the side and probably spoiled his teammate in the end in Carey, and over for a throw in 55 around from the Zebras goal.
Yeah, that was only the second time today that Josiah Kyle's had it. He's been quiet so far. Boundary throw in just outside the arc. Ryder and Dorr, that's been the key ruck matchup so far in this game. Plenty of AFL experience between those two. Umpire says, I think that was a gesture for illegal disposal.
Throw, yep.
A free kick going Munro's way. Little chipper ball out wide. Baker, and again, the careful, slow play from Mark Corrigan's side. They move it on by hand, and then go longer eventually. Wiedemann's underneath. Goes up, and almost brought it down. Ended up in Sandringham hands in the end. Hayes sends it back toward the wing. Ended up finding a target as well. That was Windhager. Next in the chain is Kent. Looking to get it moving quickly. Left foot goes inside 50. That's a nice contested mark by Chris Carey.
He made a complete mess of his set shot in the first quarter, Carey, where he got the free kick in the pocket on this side of the ground and tried to go the little left foot snap when he was far too close. He's in a slightly further out, probably a similar angle, and he looks like he's going back here to kick a drop punt.
Looking to bring the deficit down to 26 points. It's a much-needed goal that he needs to kick here for his side, Chris Carey. He's giving himself plenty of room. Into the slow jog, the right foot poking ball is perfect. Down to 26 points.
Needed that to break the run as we enter time on in the second quarter. And good reward for him and his confidence after that poor miss in the first quarter. So, bit of a hint of what we've seen at the other end. Quicker ball movement, open forward line, give your forwards one-on-ones. And that was due reward for sustained period for 2 or 3 minutes where Sandringham had probably stabilised the contest a little bit. Around the grounds also in the AFL, North Melbourne lead West Coast by 16 points. 5-8-38 to 3-4-22. Of course, it's been a tumultuous week for the West Coast Eagles with player availability, so a lot of guys from the next level down playing.
Dare say the Eagles would be happy with that, given the week they've had.
Absolutely.
Top 6 ranked players on the grounds here at Casey Fields are all Demons.
And
Illegal Shepherd
against Ryder, who's mistimed a few things in the ruck today. Majak Dor gets, I think it's his third ruck free kick of the quarter. Drives the ball long. He's got Brown in his sights. Ball's punched to ground. Flashing out wide there under a little bit of pressure, and Hayes with the clearing kick, but a free kick will go the way of Casey for incorrect disposal. Charging through it was Geary, who was tackled immediately. And the free kick will go the way of Brown, who's the hot hand.
He's the highest ranked player on the ground now. 2 goals, 3 already. 11th touch coming up in the 8 marks.
And it's a 6th shot at goal. Geary, probably a little bit stiff, was just sort of charging through, wasn't entirely in possession through that period. But the umpires have shown a demonstration, as is the AFL ruling, to be pretty hot on that this year. And that's another goal, 9-5-59 to 4-3-27, 32-point margin. So Brown, 11 kicks, so all 11 possessions are kicks, 8 marks, 3 goals, 3.
That 32-point margin has been restored for Casey into time on now. He's the highest ranked player on the ground. Deacon Smith also has 11 touches alongside Brown for the Casey Demons. Wiedemann back into the ruck. Heath also in the ruck. There might have been a whistle there, but the clearance goes Casey's way anyway, and it falls out the back. They might get to in a minute. The left foot snap. Van Ruyen kicks the goal. And the margin suddenly is out to 38 points in favour of the Demons.
They've blown this wide open. At quarter time, they probably looked the team more likely, but it was a bit of an arm wrestle. As soon as the game has opened up, they've taken complete command. And they've kicked 6 in a row. So on the quarter, it's 6-3 to 2 straight, but Sandringham kicked the goal in the first minute via Dean Kent. It's been all the home side since. Hipwell coming onto the ground into the middle. The Zebras, also Howes, Blake Howes onto the wing.
We're starting to see, Darren, a situation where you've got 16 AFL listed players out there for Casey and only 9 for Sandringham, and that's your difference in this game.
Yep, absolutely.
That's a massive discrepancy.
Yeah, particularly in that forward setup. Owens trying to get that hand pass out. It was Kent who was pushing forward there. Owens goes back in again, and the umpire's going to pay holding the ball. So free kick, a little bit of a reprieve for the Zebras. Dean Kent, who was the last man in, will get that free kick. He can kick it a long way, and he's going to drive that one deep. It'll land about 30 metres out, uncontested defensive mark taken for Casey on the last line. All a little bit too simple for them, and I guess you look at it from a St Kilda point of view. Obviously St Kilda playing in Perth today, so they would have taken probably 2 emergencies over. They've also got a few players on their injury list. They've got the suspension of Oscar Adams as well. As Van Ruyen gets out the back, open space ahead of him. Didn't get a particularly kind bounce. Dean Kent came along and put a bit of pressure on him. Hand pass swept out of there by Melksham. And now the long ball forward. Brown almost takes the mark. Stepping through, snapping towards goal, and kicking another one is Bedford. All a little bit too easy. As soon as he broke the first tackle, there was no pressure in sight. And it's a 7th goal in the quarter, 11-5-71 to 4-3-27.
Yeah, it's far too easy now for Casey. They've been a pretty good team at this level in recent years. A couple of grand final appearances at elusive premiership, obviously, still evades them.
Back to that peak period Sandy had, I think, was it 04, 5, 6, around about that period, and obviously in the 90s under Trevor Barker.
Of course, the legendary Nick Sautner did some great things in the yellow and black as well.
And for Casey, who have been aligned with both St Kilda and Melbourne historically, and obviously origins around through the Springvale and Dandenong teams.
It's 11-5 for Casey. The damage probably still not done yet. This bounce will be recalled. It's Heath against Dorr. The umpire will throw it up. Approaching half-time. It's all Casey at Casey Fields. The clearance by Dunstan out wide. Howes. Playing with a bit more speed now, Casey. Gave off the handball. Baker was running hard, then sent the ball deep inside 50. Over the head of Wiedemann. Out the back, Connolly. One way to the other. Did well there. Stood tall. Geary's handball in board was okay. They're out of danger. Lewis toward the wing. In position A. Putting the mitts up was Carey, but he couldn't mark. Ball came to ground and Howes regains it. Hand pass to Rosman, who ran into trouble. Free kick for high contact. Going Casey's way, but in a fair bit of trouble at the moment is Josiah Kyle.
Yeah, I reckon as he tried to tackle, he got kicked in the face accidentally. Would have been a free kick against him probably for a trip, but then it was a high contact anyway, so might have got it in the chest actually looking at that reaction.
He'll stand the mark as Casey go inside 50 again over Brown's head. He's been pretty big focal point inside that forward 50 for the Demons so far. Right now it's Munro just slightly off balance, but the kick is relatively on target. Wiedemann must have lost that in the sun. Couldn't take the chest mark. Zebra's looking to come away. 2 bites of the cherry, eventually bringing it down is Cody Hennis.
Pretty good kick by Leo Connolly under pressure there to find Hennis.
Kyle's coming off in the foregrounds here.
Yeah, I reckon he copped a boot in the chest just as he was trying to tackle, completely accidental. Locke putting the pressure on there, stepping through traffic with strength is Munro. Hand pass back, Allison into Dorr. Dorr tries to fight off Paddy Ryder, couldn't do so, didn't dispose of it correctly, and Paddy Ryder will get the free kick in midfield. He's got Dean Kent coming past. Left footer ends up kicking it on his right, and the mark is taken out here by Peris, son of course, Nova Peris, the dual Olympian, and the ball's measured inside, and the mark taken 40 metres out on a tight-ish angle, but certainly a very gettable kick in the conditions, and an opportunity for Sandringham to finally peg one back, and it'll be taken here by Lohman. Jake Lohman just to arrest the run against his side, as we see Kyle getting a bit of treatment down in front of us with the doctor, just working on his breathing at the moment. So Lohman, 40 to 45 metres out, hangs that well out to the right, and it goes out of bounds on the full. So sums up the quarter, 28 and a half minutes in, Sandringham 4-3-27, Casey 11-5-71.
Tom Freeman will reclaim the ball for Casey. They have been far too dominant, 7 goals to 2 in this second quarter. Toward the outer side, Ryder trying to affect the contest at the back. Demons had a couple of numbers. Munro gets another touch, looking to chip one over the top. Brown was running back with the flight, almost colliding with Donnell. It's on the wing. Bain going down. Umpire will cross his arms.
You look at some of the guys in this Casey team that, around about the mark for that Melbourne Premiership lineup, like Wiedemann and Melksham and players like that. Certainly Dunstan, whilst he wasn't on their list last year, wouldn't be far away from their best 22. Oscar Baker, certainly another.
Melksham did fly back down. He was up on the Gold Coast last night with the AFL Demons. We go out of play. Approaching the half-hour mark here in this second term. It's been a busy day here at Casey Fields, an 89-point win in the Rebel VFL women's competition earlier today for Casey against the Southern Saints. So far, they're looking like they're going to get the double. Bouncing ball on the wing. Melksham gets it. Holds on to it for the moment. Eventually sends it towards half forward. No mark could be taken there by Bedford. Goonan had it and lost it. Gets it back. Had to give off the handball. Demons have done well by hand here. McVee. It's a flying shot on goal that won't register a score.
Matthew Ellison in the back pocket. St Kilda's first pick year before last. Chipping ball to Donnell. Donnell will hug the broadcast side. Trying to go towards a leading player at the back. Ended up playing the role of spoiler there was Lohman trying to bring that ball to ground. And now they tie it up with a tackle from Jack Paris. Ryder and Dorr wandering down to contest the ruck in the latter stages of the first half. Ryder wins the tap. Go all that far. And the umpire giving that a fair go and then eventually paying a push in the back. It was certainly flirting with getting into the back of Munro for most of that exchange. And Munro eventually does get the free kick here. A couple of kicks from goal. Trying to hit up a leading target. In the end, kicks to a contest. At the back, Brown was the dangerous player. It swept back to the goalkeeper. Donnell ends up receiving the hand pass. It's then thrown onto the boot. Kicks towards Windhager, who's under a bit of pressure. Locke goes in there to apply some heat on Melksham, who didn't dispose of it cleanly, and the umpire will pay a free kick to Sandringham.
Long quarter this one. Locke will go lateral to Donnell. Played plenty of good footy at this level under Andy Collins at Williamstown. Now back in one way or another, aligned with St Kilda via the Sandringham VFL list. It's on the outer side and in the hands of Windhager. Goes for a bit of a dash and then eventually hugs the boundary line with his kick. It was put down by Owens. Ryder's underneath this though. Can mark, can keep on going. Dribble toward goal. Paddy Ryder kicking a much-needed goal for Sandringham.
I wonder when he took that mark if the mind went back. It's a 32.5-minute mark of the quarter. He took the mark in the same circumstances in the first term and the siren beat him. I wonder if there was a little man on the shoulder saying, mate, stop, go back and take the kick. But he didn't run out of time then, and he gets the goal that he missed out on just before quarter time.
Called the name of James Munro a lot in this second quarter, Darren. He's now the leading ball getter on the grounds with 14. Leo Connolly still leading the way for Sandringham with 13. After that, it is all Demons. 11 to Brown, Dunstan and Smith, 10 to Baker and Howes.
And to go with Munro's 14 touches, 6 tackles and 5 clearances. So he's doing it both ways. Ryder goes now into the centre bounce, having kicked that last goal. Jack McHale takes a turn in the middle. Nick Hodgson also in at the centre bounce. And Bedford sitting or standing beside him at the moment. Bounce favours Wiedemann. It's taken out of there by Hodgson, who was caught high. In fact, they've ended up paying the high fend off. The arm going out the other way. But it is half-time, and Casey lead it by 38 points. 11-5, 71 to Sandringham, 5-3, 33. 3